Conversations with Carolyn Vaughn, and I am extremely excited about my guest today, and that's none other than Dr. Rachel Hill. And the reason that I'm just extremely excited, because I've watched this young lady grow up from a little tot all the way up teenage years to adult years. So I am just so excited to see her path that she has taken, and also the accomplishments. We are very, very proud of Dr. Rachel Hill. So just to give you a little bit of information, and then we'll get into our conversation. Welcome, Dr. Hill.
Thank you, Aunt Pastor Carolyn.
Dr. Rachel Hill, she is a doctorate prepared, and you'll have to tell us exactly what that means.
Okay.
And she is a family and psychiatric nurse practitioner who specializes in holistic and integrative medicine, mental health, and wound care. She works in private practice and is kept busy as the CEO of Metamorphosis, Holistic and Integrative Therapies. You must tell us about that as well. Offering holistic coaching, education, and holistic treatments to help alleviate pain, stress, and promote wellness. But not only that, there's one other thing. Well, actually, there's a whole lot more. Dr. Hill is the CEO of Hen and Moon Apothecary, which is an herbal and aromatherapy company that provides a special line of specially formulated massage. Tell me that other word.
Nutraceuticals.
Nutraceuticals, okay. And aromatherapy blends for individuals who want to take a holistic route to balance and well-being. And I personally want to know more about holistic because I'm really into the holistic approach rather than what our regular medicine does. I'm interested in the holistic approach. But as I said, not only that, she is a published author and has written a book for nurses, which is called Nursing from the Inside Out, published by Jones and Bartlett, and also another book that is called Metamorphosis, A Soul's Journey Through Poetry. Not only that,
Stop.
but Rachel is a mother, and she is a grandmother of a 2-year-old, or soon will be 2, right?
I just turned 1 yesterday.
Oh, just turned 1. Wow.
Time flies.
So it does. So we're so excited to have you. When I read some of Rachel's accomplishments, and this is just some, her journey includes a whole lot more than this. But I thought about the song that became so popular, that Katy Perry song, and the song is called Roar.
Oh.
And to me it's a beautiful song.
It is.
But when I looked into the song, why did she pen this song to sing, and she got awards for it, and I understood that Roar came out of pain, out of her experiences, negative experiences, but it means the song is about overcoming challenges and getting back on your feet when something or someone comes along and knocks you down. The song is about you can get back up and keep moving. And that song, Roar, I would sing it a little bit, but our time is limited. So I'll have to call you and sing and hear me roar, girl. No, so I'm just so excited again to have this conversation with you. So tell us, Dr. Hill, before we get into some of what you do as far as your practice is concerned. But you were raised in Kansas City, Kansas, in Wyandotte County, in the dot, and look at you now. And so how did you, tell us a little bit about your journey from, was this something that you wanted to do even while you were in high school or when you were a little girl? Did you always want to be in medicine?
I would have to say yes.
Okay.
I would have to say yes because growing up in the church, you know, we used to have every Sunday, well, it was every like third Sunday or something, we used to do like the foot washing, and then there'd be the woman with the white hat on, and she'd give Grandpa the 7-Up, you know, when he
nurses
preached,
unit.
the nurses unit, and all of this just kind of mesmerized me. It's like, I want to wear the white hose, the white dress, the white hat, and everything, and serve 7-Up to people. I want to wash people's feet and things like that. There was something about serving, not that nurses wash people's feet. It gets kind of convoluted that that's what we're here for, but that's not. But it was just the service component that got me. So I knew that from Christmas gifts of first aid kits, stethoscopes that I always forget to take off. Well, never mind, it's tangled. Let me put it back on. You know, it's just all that stuff was mesmerizing to me, and it seemed like I was the go-to person to stick on Band-Aids on anybody that was hurt. So whether it was something I chose myself, it definitely, people felt that energy and came to me to get the Band-Aid stuck on them, or to get we called it monkey blood, but the betadine, I would have the betadine, alcohol, get the little folded up toilet paper, put the alcohol on, and then put the Band-Aid on. So I have a feel, I just always have been drawn to it. And then high school, the opportunity I got to get into the Health Careers Club, I was there. And then went on to get my biology degree from the University of Tulsa, still geared toward medicine, even though I went into nursing.
Yeah, and I remember those days when you were in Tulsa in that program. You had some days.
I had some days, some interesting days. Yes, because it was a combination of the Bible Belt and like my first day in Tulsa, away from home ever, they put Ku Klux Klan had put signs on our cars telling us to go back home, you know, and everything. And my first day of my chemistry class, my chemistry teacher gave me a down slip and said, you know, foreigners and African Americans don't do well, so you might as well drop.
What?
So I sat there, was like contemplating. I needed to get some air. Walked out, and there was this little short lady with red hair. Put her hands on her hips and said, "You get back down there." I didn't know this woman from Adam. She said, "You get back down there and sit down. You're gonna make it." And then it was just like, that's all I needed to know. I was like, she was a little rough, but that was God's there telling me to get back down there. You have a destiny. And that was it. It's been history ever since.
So you roared on that day.
I didn't roar. She roared for me. She scared me and roared at me. And then I sat down there and then finished my biology degree.
And then what were some, I think in everything, we see people who have what we call made it, or, you know, operating at a place that, you know, maybe we are wanting to attain or wanting to get there. And I do believe that no matter where we are, no matter what path that we take, that we are always representing our generation, but there's another generation that's looking and wanting to go the path that you went. And so that mentorship part of it, just being able to talk to someone else to let them know that you can do this and this is how. So did you ever have those type of experiences where maybe someone came up to you and said, "Dr. Hill, how did you make it here?"
You know, I've had a lot of those experiences where people have told me that they couldn't do it because they look at me and they don't see what I've been through. They don't know where I've lived. They don't know I used to live like not too far from here on 8th and Quindaro. Things like that, where they look at appearances and don't think that you've covered some of the same territory that they're covering now. So I've had those experiences, and I just have to stop them and share my experiences with them. You know, the different hardships that I've had, just so that they know it's not the circumstances that you see that help you overcome. It's the future that you live into, that you're able to, if you can see yourself doing something, nobody can stop you, because that's where the divine purpose connects and God starts putting people in your place that actually usher you. So I mentor a lot of people, and it's not really me mentoring them. It's just me pointing them to God so that God can connect them with who they need to be connected to. So I'm just the middle woman.
You're the middle person.
I'm the middle person.
To get to.
So that they can build that trust within themselves so that they know that even when I'm not around, and even if they don't hear the words I say, they can stand and make it.
That's a really,
especially with COVID, when you're by yourself and you're got that talk in your head, and you can't socialize with anyone, and you're thinking, can I do this now? Can I not do this? And a lot of nurses, I'm mentoring a lot of nurses right now who are going through the transition of healthcare and what they're facing. How are they going to make it? How are they going to get the same experiences so that they can feel confident? So exactly, I just tell them,
So it's that concept of I'm here, but let me reach back and help you, show you the way. But then just also knowing that what the power actually comes from.
That self-sufficiency and that confidence.
Confidence.
Because if you're confident in yourself, you're confident, you trust God, and it goes hand in hand.
I read a quote, I don't remember where it was. I am a senior citizen, so it's okay if I don't remember. So anyway, I read a quote that said, if you can see the cup, then you can obtain the cup. And it's kind of like what you said, that if you can see it, you can obtain it. The process then becomes, the things that you have to do to get there. It may not be just readily where you can just grab it, but it is obtainable. Going through the process can get you there.
Absolutely.
And so you experienced the process. So you talked about your undergraduate and your biology degree, but you're a doctor now. So that was another level of education. So what was that like?
You know what? It was the same thing that I would tell anyone else. That was something that on the physical plane, I didn't see any way that I could accomplish that because, you're working full time, you're taking care of your family. I'm pretty much maxed out all those student loans because of my education. So I had to pay for it out of pocket. So it was something that I was like, okay, I'm going to put it on the back burner. But I had the urge, so I was just like, I'm going to release. I'm going to release what I need to release. And it was interesting because all the people in my program, they had partners. They were doing the research together in groups of 2 and 3. So they had, you do this, you do this, you do this. I didn't have any partners that were interested in what I was doing, and I did my research on depression, major depression, and outcomes and clinics where I measure different clinics and see how successful they are with their major depressive patients and everything. So I was doing it all on my own, and
you couldn't find anybody
to partner with.
So you should have called me.
I know, it's like, but you know what? I had an opportunity to do some consulting. And the consulting paid for a semester. I was like, they'll pay me that much just to talk about herbs? The good herbs, not all herbs are good, legal herbs.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
We're moving into that age
where
saints might be eating brownies in the break room or something.
Brownies and cookies.
Yes. So it's just like everything would happen where I think that, okay, it doesn't look like I'm going to make it, but I'll trust God on this. And then someone would say, okay, how about you teach this class for the semester and we'll knock out your tuition for this. And so I essentially, finance was the biggest issue that I had, was trying to juggle, pay student loans and work. And God just worked it out. I didn't know how it was going to work out each semester, but it always worked out. So that was what my experience was like. And it was interesting because I don't consider myself a statistician either. And my statistician, when I was about to defend, was in France. And kind of like he didn't forget about me, but he thought he had more time to get my data together. But I did not know what I was doing. I had to present the next week. And so I tallied all my statistics on hand. I Googled, I went back to old statistics. Yes, I'm getting tongue-tied. Statistic books. And don't you know, God gave me the knowledge and the insight to longhand my statistics. And then I go to a class reunion and one of my friends is a statistician there. And so she's like, I got you, girl. And she and I worked through our statistics. And then the doctor comes back from France and he checks them. He's like, oh, these pan out. So it didn't delay. So God was always there and everything. So my doctorate was like a miracle, because I did it for several reasons. I did it because I wanted women, young women, to know that they could do it, even if they have families and everything. I wanted people of color to know that it was obtainable, and then I wanted to advance the profession of nursing.
Great, great.
Yeah, go as far as I could go in nursing, so I could be an example and a role model.
Oh, thank you for sharing all of that. Now, you said a whole lot.
I did.
Yes, you did.
I have a doctorate, so I tend to write a lot and talk a lot. Can't turn it off.
You can't. That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't want you to turn it off. Not today.
Yeah.
No, not today. But you're in your profession now. I think one of the things that you are the CEO of Hen and
Moon.
Hen and Moon. Tell us about that. I mean, what is it that you do? Because I remember before you became Dr. Hill, that you were mixing up stuff at your home, and I think I've gotten soap from you, all natural
probably
kind of stuff.
Have.
And then whenever that we had something going on, maybe a pain in the hip, or we called Rachel, what do we do? So we were always calling you for something.
To rub a little something on
to tell us what we could do to help ease that pain. So exactly what is that business about?
Gotcha. Hen and Moon is an integration of what I've learned from aromatherapy, herbology, and
Herbology,
okay. Where I actually took, my first degree was in biology.
Okay.
So I took several classes like in field botany and things like that, where we'd go out and look at the herbs. Like if you were like stranded in a field for like 2 weeks and couldn't get out, what could you eat that was safe, that wouldn't kill you?
I would probably just, my mindset would be, okay, Jesus was in the wilderness for 40 days. So, I'd have to take that mindset that I could, we just gonna fast for 2 weeks.
Mud pies don't count because they're not the same. But grandfather, he always had a garden.
Yes.
He always had a garden, and my late grandmother Odessa, always kept a garden. She'd take us to a community garden. So I got interested in herbs, and there were different things that they would do to make different medicines, like poke salad. Grandpa would use it. It's like a purgative, sort of, and if you eat too much of it, it cleans you out, but sometimes you need to be cleaned out.
Okay. Now, I do remember poke salad.
Poke salad.
In greens.
In greens.
But you can't, I don't know where you find that these days.
You have to grow it.
Oh, okay.
You have to grow it. So just that experience, and I was like, we are taking so many medicines. When herbs are medicine comes from herbs. A lot of them do, even though they've been so manufactured now that they're kind of leaning toward more synthetic things. But, herbs, aspirin, comes from an herb, different components. Some of our cancer therapies and things come from herbs. And so being able to understand and know these herbs prior to being manufactured and being able to use them in the raw, to me, is priceless. So I always felt the nudging that people needed to know what was in their environment so that they could use it to their own benefit. Because we will try things from other countries, we'll try things from seas, and we've got stuff right here in our backyard like mullein and things like that we could use for respiratory issues, stuff that you don't have to spend an arm and a leg for. So that's where Hen and Moon came from. And I would make components when I was working as a hospice nurse. A lot of my patients had pain, and it wasn't touched by regular medicine. And so I noticed that they gained a lot of comfort from me touching them, that therapeutic touch, and then I would kind of slip on the slide. I'd make a little, let me put something in here for them that would numb them up or would lubricate or their joints and things like that, aloe vera for this rash. So I started making things, and so some of the doctors got wind of it, and they started writing orders for me to make my salve. I'm like, this is not manufactured by, so right. They're like, I'll write an order for it. Can you make it? And then people were using it, and then all of a sudden people start calling me from California. So-and-so sent me a portion of your salve that you gave them in a little container. Can you make me up some? And so I was like, okay, a lot of people are benefiting from it, a lot of cancer patients. And so that led me to do more research, make more products, and create the apothecary, because an apothecary is like one of the older herbal pharmacies back in the day. That's what we had. We had herbal pharmacies where you go to someone in the town and have them mix you up something made to order. And so that's what I was doing. I was making things to order, whether it be medicinal soap, whether it be stuff for constipation, slippery elm balls, just stuff like that. I just make it according to what people needed, but I use herbs and no medicines.
Well, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in this day and time that we live in,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing how so much of what we purchase from the store is genetically modified. Now, some of the fruits and vegetables, they are labeled
Mm-hmm.
not genetically modified.
Mm-hmm.
But then what about those that aren't? You know, I'm just especially in these days, just looking at where our food is coming from and how that it is manufactured and all of that. So I really am interested more in, and I do see more people with gardens now.
I have one now.
And you have one now?
I have one now.
Yes. So may I interest you in helping me? I need to get a garden as well.
If you share your tomatoes, I'm interested.
Okay. You got it. You got it. That's a promise.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No, I'm more than happy to. And you're absolutely right, because, you know, if you have some type of health challenge you're dealing with and you go to the grocery store thinking that I'm going to eat whole foods and this is going to help bring my body up to speed,
Mm-hmm.
and you're getting like empty food that doesn't have the content that you think it does because of farming practices and things like that. You think you're getting one thing. I tend to tell my patients in practice that it's never been more important for us to actually consider mindfulness and blessing our food. You know, you don't know what you're getting, but
Right.
you know, power of the word. I believe that if you're eating like a banana that's genetically modified, all you have to do is just pray over it and just say, God, remodify this the way it's supposed to be, because you've got to eat. You've got to eat. But you know, I just believe that, you know, we're capable of miracles, and so let's fix the banana. I know it sounds so, fix the banana, but you know what I mean. Pray, bless your stuff, bless your food, be mindful. I try to cook as much, and COVID has created the circumstances where we cook more at home.
Yes, absolutely.
We're not eating.
Absolutely.
So being able to be mindful who's cooking your food. You don't always know.
Right,
And blessing
right,
your
true,
food and
true.
being grateful and having
So
gratitude.
going back to those things that you were taught as a child.
Exactly.
Always
And
bless your
there was a
food
reason
before.
for it.
Yeah.
There was a reason for it.
We'll have to have you come back, because there's so many other things that I want to explore about what you do. 'Cause
Definitely.
you do so much herbal things, and talking about what this does for that, and things that you can do rather than taking prescriptions. And so, but that's a whole lot.
I know. It's like I want to talk now and I want to start another conversation with you, but I can't.
But thank you again,
Absolutely.
Dr. Hill,
My pleasure.
taking time out of your schedule, and
My pleasure.
I'm sure you've got patients that you've got to get back to. But thank you for coming, stopping by.
My pleasure.
Thank you all for watching. This has been Candid Conversations with Carolyn Vaughn.